N8N MCP agents are absolutely insane. So what I'm going to show you today is exactly how to set these up and how they're different and what's changed so far. So you can see, for example, we've got this AI agent set up inside N8N. I'll show you how to set up all of this today, step by step, in the most simplified way I possibly can. And essentially what we've got here is an AI agent, and this is linked to, for example, an MCP tool with Airbnb and also Brave Search, right? So it's connected to the web. This AI agent just go off on the web, search stuff. Also, you can search through MCPs on whatever service you connected to. So I've connected to an MCP with Airbnb. Let's open up the chat and I'll show you an example. So if we pull up the chat here and we say, for example, okay, find me a 4-bedroom apartment in Manchester. You can see what we're doing here is we're using the MCP servers and a combination of the AI agent with ChatGPT inside Airbnb. And so it's searching through the data, it's using the chat interface inside N8N, and then it's using the Airbnb tool to figure all of this out. So we'll wait for the response here, and I'll show you exactly the output that we got. So you can see I've found several Airbnb listings for 4-bedroom apartments in Manchester. Here are some options. And what's cool about this is it actually gives you better data than the actual website and platform, right? So if we go onto the website here, it's a bit messy, it's a bit annoying to go through, like it's hard to compare all the options, right? Whereas, for example, inside the chat directly, what you can see with the MCP server and N8N is that we've got a breakdown of the type, the reviews, the price, the available dates. So it's actually figured out, okay, these are the dates, so this is the date, and then these are the dates when it's available. And also it links directly to the different apartments, like you can see. And also if you want more listings, you can just go straight here, which is pretty cool. And additionally, these are all within Manchester. So it's a really powerful way of just organizing information. It's way faster than the old way. Additionally, what we can do is if we zoom out here, we say to it, okay, now do a web search and tell me what the weather is like in Manchester. All right. And that's going to use the Brave Search MCP, which is connected to the internet. You can actually get a free API directly from Brave Search if you want to connect this. And you can see it's now running through the MCP servers. It's going to have to list the tools first, figure that out, and then it's going to use the Brave Search tool to actually do a web search directly. And that will take a moment or so to come back to us. And then once we've done that, we've got the listings right here. Okay. So really powerful stuff, really easy to do. And all we did was we just said, do a web search for what the weather is like. And so with a combination of the Airbnb MCP server and the Brave Search MCP servers, we can just get the information that we want. If we click on that link, it's going to take us directly to the listings for the weather. That was updated 12 minutes ago. Boom shakalaka, we're ready to go, and we can just do a live search on the internet and get the results that we want. It's kind of like having access to an AI agent that can interact with all your favorite platforms. The other cool thing about this is, for example, you could actually publish this. So if we go to AI agent over here, and then we go back to the chat message, we can actually publish this AI agent, so we can make it publicly available. We can just hit save on this, make it active, right? So you just activate the workflow. And then once you've activated the workflow, you'll get a public URL that you can just share as a chatbot, right? Really cool stuff. Now, additionally, what you can see here is you can also test this out. So we've got a test workflow over here where we can just test that this is working step by step, but I'm just going to delete that for now because we no longer need it. That was when I was testing out the workflow and making sure it actually works. So we're going to hit save, and then we should be good to go on that. All right, we'll delete the history, make that active, hit got it, and then click on the chat. Let's open this up a new tab over here, and we've got the chat over here, right? And so this chat will link to our MCP server, right? So you can open up this in incognito, and you can say, okay, tell me what are the best apartments 4-bed in Manchester. All right. Then it's going to start searching that using our AI agent and the MCP tools that we were looking for previously. And we can even publish this chatbot directly to the web, right? And it's connected to all these different apps. Now, I'll show you why this is different in a minute and how it works through step by step. If you want the template, it's inside the AI Profit Boardroom. I'll show you how to get that whilst waiting for this to load. So let me just put that on a different screen And I'll show you how to get access to this. So if you go inside the profit boardroom, then go to SEP's whole collection, and then you'll see the templates right here. So you can just download the template step by step. Credit to Nathan Herc for coming up with this. He actually created an amazing YouTube video. Just search Nathan Herc MCP Agents on YouTube, and you'll find the full tutorial on how he set up. But it's absolutely awesome. And I'll show you how to set up inside this video as well. So you can see here, we've got this chatbot. This is on an incognito tab, so you don't need to, have any login details to use it. We can publish it to the web. We can actually get embeddable code to embed it onto our website as well. And we've got the reviews plus the links to our Airbnb post right here, right? MCP clients. That is the future, my friend. Mind-blowing stuff. And I'm going to show you exactly how to use this step by step in a second as well. But yeah, you can see how cool that is. Again, we can do web searches. We can do whatever we want. And it is absolutely awesome stuff. So let's delete that. And let me show you exactly how to get this bad boy set up. All right, so we're going to delete that. We'll get rid of this. If you want the templates, again, inside the AI Profit Boardroom, just get the resources down here. You can download them. And then what I'm going to show you now is exactly how to set this up. So the first thing we're going to do is go over to Elest.io. You're going to log in. And I don't think I've paid for this. I think I'm on the free trial currently. I have added my credit card, but I've not paid for it. And what you're going to do is you're going to go over to Services, create a new service. You're going to have to verify this. You might have to go through this process twice, one when you verify it and then one when you finally set it up after approval. Then you're going to click N8N, get this set up the server that you want, right? So for example, if you're using Airbnb, right? If I use Airbnb Asia and then I select Singapore, that's going to give me the results in SGD for the currency of that Airbnb listing or whatever MCP server I'm connected to. So bear that in mind when you're getting the prices, right? If you want this in USD, you would make sure you select USA. Pretty simple stuff. Then you're just going to go over to next. For the package, I would recommend medium. Medium for now. I don't think you need too much storage. But obviously, the more MCP servers and the more workflows you create, the more storage you're going to need. Then you're going to click on next, add the name, add your email address, all that information, create the service, boom shakalaka. You've got a SEO set up. Now, this is going to ask you for approval the first time you go through it, right? So it'll ask you for approval. You give it the approval. I think you have to add your credit card, and then you just go back into services and just set up N8N, right? Now, once it's set up and deployed, you'll see something like this, right? And once N8N is deployed, what you're going to see over here is it's going to give you the admin details. So make sure you just go to the admin details. If you want to navigate straight to the actual URL, you can just select this URL right here, the CNAME, and then you can go straight to the workflows over here. And also, the first time you go to this URL, it's going to ask you to set up admin login details, right? So you just fill in your name, you fill in the details about you, make sure you save your password so you can come back to it and get access to it directly. Now, this is much more complicated than the workflow I showed yesterday for MCP agents, right? So if you want like a really easy and simple workflow, then just get inside the AI Profit Boardroom, the MCP Agents tutorial plus SEP right here. That is 10 times easier than what I'm going to show you. But if you want more freedom, if you want to create something crazy, if you want the good stuff, if you want to blow your own mind, then this is what you're going to do, right? And also inside N8N, you might be saying, okay, but why don't you just set this up inside your normal N8N workflow, right? So for example, I've got goldieagency.n8n.cloud, and I could try and create MCP agents in here. That's what you would think, right? But this has to be hosted. It has to be self-hosted if you want to set up MCP agents, right? So, for example, you'll see in the URL up here, it says elesio.app. That is the self-hosted address of our N8N workspace. Now, if we go over to goldieagency.n8n.cloud, this is not self-hosted. And so we cannot install community nodes. If you cannot install community nodes inside the settings section here, then we cannot install MCP servers yet, unless N8N do update in the future, which I'm sure they will. So once you've set up on Elesio, you've got the server running, you've got the subdomain running, etc. What you're going to do from here is you're going to go over to settings. So you're going to go to settings on your self-hosted plan. Then from here, you're going to go to community nodes, and you want to import this MCP server. So to do that, you just click on install, and you would just insert the package name, which is N8N-nodes-MCP. Click I understand, blah, blah, and then you can click install. Very important to do that first of all. This is a very important step, right? In fact, every step that I show you today is very important, and I will create a step-by-step process not just video notes, inside the AI Profit Boardroom. So if you want to get like a step-by-step SOP for this, it'll be all inside the AI Profit Boardroom by the time you finish watching this, right? And so the thing to note about this is like when you're using these MCP nodes, like you can see right here, you're just going to grab this, import it, install it, right? And you might say, what's the point? What's the point of doing all this? Let me show you an example, right? So back in the olden days, aka a couple of weeks ago, which is a long time ago in the AI space, right? What you'd have to do is, let's say you got an AI agent, right? And then, you want to link this to whatever. Inside the tool section here, if you wanted to use multiple different tools of Gmail, you're going to have to set them up all separately, mate, right? So you're going to have one for adding a label, right? Then we're going to have to add another tool, and that's going to be for drafting, right? If you want to get the full functionality of Gmail, so we'd have to add one for deleting stuff, right? Then we'd have to add another tool, and we'd have to add this one, and this would be for getting emails, right? And before you know it, you got 20 different tools inside your AI agent. Takes a long time to set up, takes a long time to quality control, takes a long time to figure this all out, right? It's a lot of mess. Whereas if you're setting up an MCP agent, really, you only need a tool. So you only need one tool for listing the tools, and then one tool for executing the tools, right? So instead of adding, let's say you have to add another one over here, and that next one is going to be for marking as read, and then we'll have to add another one for marking as unread, right? And if you want to get all the functionality of all the tools, and there could be like 11 tools in one single app, then you have to set that up every single time, my friends. And not only that, but you have to set them up and you have to configure them, right? So each of these tools have to be configured so that they actually work. So you have to map out, for example, the message ID, the labels, and that sort of thing, right? The message ID and the labels. Gets very messy and time consuming. That's what you don't want. And so MCP agents are way more powerful because all you need, for example, if we want to use the full functionality of Brave Search, is a list tools tool and an execute tool. And that saves a lot of time, okay? As it's much easier, much simpler, and you get way more powerful AI agents that have way more freedom using this process, okay? So once you've done that, once you've installed MCP agents, the community node, then inside whatever workflow you're going to create, and if you want to create a workflow, you just click on create workflow here. So you go to overview, create workflow, and then you just start setting this up. So inside that workflow, if we scroll up here into the blank space, we'll add a node, right click, add node. And then, for example, here, we can put MCP client. And what the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to set up list available tools, okay? And in here, you would add whatever MCP you want to add, right? So for example, I've got Airbnb and Brave Search right here, whichever one you want to add. Now, there are loads of different MCP agents you can connect. If you're wondering, okay, which ones can I connect? Let me show you a few examples. So if we go to the model context protocol, this is like the official GitHub that you can import into N8N, right? These are all the different you can create. Let me pull this up. So we're going to go over to servers over here. You get, for example, you can insert AWS, Brave Search. You could have GitHub in there, Google Drive, Google Maps. We've got, for example, other ones like Airbnb, right? So you can see here you've got Airbnb. And also there's many different types here. So let me show you an example, right? So in terms of model context protocol servers, right, which is what MCP stands for, you got reference servers. You also have, for example, a third-party service, which you can see right here. So for example, Firecrawl is a pretty powerful one. And also another one that you might want to use is Make. So you can actually turn your Make scenarios into AI assistants and import the MCP. You can, for example, import Perplexity. I've actually created a video inside the AI Profit Boardroom on exactly how to use Perplexity MCP servers directly inside here. So you can just get the SOP directly there. And then also you can see here we have Stripe, right? Imagine how powerful it would be if you could just automate your invoicing processes using an AI agent connected to Stripe MCP. So if a client goes onto your website, they're like, I want to invoice for buying $300 worth of backlinks for your SEO agency. Okay, here you go, mate. And instead of having a whole finance team, you've automated that using these MCP agents. That's how powerful this is. And that's how easy this is to set up, right? There's other stuff. So for example, what we're setting up today is Airbnb, but Anki even. Anki I use for flashcards and learning languages. Like, the reason that I can speak 5 languages is because of Anki. Let me tell you that for free. And then, you've got all these other ones as well. So it's absolutely amazing what you can do. There's so much room to it. You see there's an 11 Labs MCP agent there as well. So you can import all of these into N8N, and then you can use, for example, your N8N agents to automate so much different stuff. Okay? So let's come back to the Airbnb example. So if we go to Airbnb over here, we can use this MCP server on A10, like you can see over here, right, inside this workflow. So if you want to do that, here's how you're going to do it. So we're going to right click here. Let me zoom out for you there. Add node, MCP client, and then we're going to click on list available tools. You have to select list available tools before you can execute a tool, right? So it has to retrieve the MCP tools before it can start using them, if that makes sense. And so what we're going to do is we're going to add a new credential here for the MCP server. So for example, if we look at Airbnb, here's how you're going to set it up. All right. So you're going to select the command MPX. That's going to be the command here. Now, if you're wondering, okay, why is it MPX? Like, how do you even figure that out? That sounds crazy. So you're going to go to the setup section on the MCP. So this is the GitHub MCP server for Airbnb, right? Now, if we scroll down, we're going to use this section to ignore robots.txt for all requests. And you've got the command, which is MPX, right? So if you go to N8N, and I told you this would be more technical than what I've shown you yesterday, you're going to select the command as MPX. And then inside the arguments here, you're going to select the arguments. So the first argument is -y. So you're going to put -y here. And then for this section, you would select open BNB MCP server, right? So you're going to select that. Remove all the quote marks and just add a space in between each argument, right? So you see how it says -y, and then the next argument has a space, and then it's the next argument, right? And then another space, and then -- ignore robots text. Okay? And then for the environment section here, for Airbnb, you can leave that blank because you don't require an API key, right? If you're using something like Brave Search, which I'll come on to in a minute, you do need an API key. And so you would set that up inside the environment. If you want all the notes on how to set that up, then just check out the AI Profit Boardroom. Scroll down, you can see all the notes on exactly how to set this up step by step. And then once you set up the MCP list tools, then you're going to have a new section, which is called MCP client, and you're going to execute a tool, right? Why do you want to execute a tool? Because this is going to use a tool that you've just got listed from Airbnb, right? So the workflow here, if you look at it, it's like we're going to list a tool from Airbnb, and then we're going to execute a tool from Airbnb, right? So we're retrieving all the tools, and then we're executing them. So inside the tool name section here, let me find this for you right here. Okay. So you're going to use the previous set of the workflow. So for example, click test step. You have to test the step first. That's going to pull out all the information, right? So you can see all these different tools you can use: location, place ID, check-in, check-out, adults, children, minimum price, maximum price, etc. Right? And it gets all the information directly from Airbnb there. Okay. Now, once you've done that, then you can go to the execute tool section. You can drag in the function from previous, right? And then from here, you're just going to hard code the location, right? So for example, here we can put location Manchester. I've hard coded it. If you want to copy and paste this from the AI Profit Boardroom, you can if you want to test it out. And then from there, we can start running this, right? So that's basically how we can do this. We're going to delete that. We'll delete that. And we'll go back to our AI agent. Let me delete this module as well. So now you're probably wondering, okay, that's great, Julian. You showed me how to set up MCP clients in a linear workflow, but that doesn't really have many use cases. Okay, great. I'm glad you asked. So what we're going to do next is we're going to start setting up the AI agent with our MCP servers, right? Like you can see right here. So this is an AI agent. It's linked to OpenAI. And then we've got, for example, the Airbnb tool connected and the Brave Search tool connected. Now, if you want to set something like this up, what we're going to do over here is we are going to add an AI agent. So let's plug that in. All right. And then we can plug that in over here. And then we'll add an OpenAI connection. And you just add in your credentials. So literally all your credentials are is like an API code that you can copy over. All right. Then from here, we're going to add a tool. So inside the tool section, we're going to add MCP. And we're going to use those credentials we created earlier. All right. So for example, Airbnb, these are the credentials we talked about earlier, and we're going to have that set up. All right. That's going to be the list tools section. Then what we also need is not just list tools, because that's going to find the tools, but we also need the MCP client for executing the tools, right? So once the agent has listed all the tools, we need to execute the tool. Now, if you're wondering, okay, how do you set up the tool name and tool parameters? Let me show you how to set that up inside my existing workflow here. And so these are the settings that we have, right? So we have execute tool, and then inside the tool parameters section, we actually just use AI. So if you X off that and then click AI like that, so click on let the model define this parameter. And then inside the expression, this is the expression we've used. Again, inside the AI profit boardroom, you can just copy and paste this stuff if you want to steal this stuff from me directly, all right? That's basically it for the AI agent setup. If you want to learn how to set up Brave Search, let me show you the settings for this. So inside Brave Search, you're going to use the details from the GitHub. So let me find the GitHub for Brave Search right here. Here we go. All right. And if we scroll down to the NPX section, you would just use NPX for the command again. You got the arguments here, right? So -y is the first argument. And then you put a space in between -y and @model context protocol /server-brave-search. And then underneath here, what you can see is we need to insert our API key. So you're going to put brave_API_key equals, right? That's what you're going to put inside the environment setting, right? So we've got the command, which is npx. We've got the argument, which is this. And then for the environment, you're going to have brave_API_key equals, and then you insert your API key. If you're wondering, okay, how do you get an API key from Brave Search? Number one, it is free, which is awesome. And number two, to get it, you just go to brave.com, like you can see. So it's brave.com/search/API, and you can get the API key right here. So you get 2,000 free queries, which is awesome. You can get a free plan, and then you connect it to the internet with your AI agent, and you can combine that with the power of whatever MCP server you insert, right? Really powerful, but simple stuff. And it doesn't take long at all to set those, right? So if we go back to the N8N agent, like we've got this all set up and ready to go. All right. Now, again, with Brave Search, we set the tool description automatically. We configured the operation to list tools, and inside the execute tool, here's what we did, right? So we put this expression right here. This is the expression we're using, right? And that's the settings. Pretty simple stuff. Again, we're going to define the tool parameters automatically by the model. So we allow AI to figure that out for us. And literally, when you're setting this up, all you need to do is insert the credentials and also the expression. That's it. Simple stuff. All right. So once you've done that, now you've got all the settings right here. Some people are asking, okay, what's the difference between, say, self-hosting N8N versus online? Number one, if you're self-hosting N8N, you can use MCP clients, right? You can't do that with the hosted on N8N option yet. Maybe that will come in the future. And then number two, this allows you to also use N8N for free, right? So if you set up N8N via Alessio, as I said, I haven't been charged anything on the credit card. If I set it up via N8N, I only get a 2-week free trial, and then I have to start paying, right? And if you run N8N locally, then you don't have to pay at all, right? So it's completely free. So that's some of the biggest differences right there. So let's get back to this AI agent. So we've got this all connected right here. So we've got when chat message is received, that's going to go over to the AI agent. By the way, if you're wondering what the system message is, we've just put you're a helpful assistant. That's running through OpenAI. Like you can see, we've got the Airbnb tool connected with the MCP server here. And by the way, when you're setting up multiple MCP servers, make sure you change the name, right? So you can see here, we named it as Brave Search. The reason you want to add the name here is so that it's so much easier to understand this whole section. If you don't add the MCP server, then it's going to be super annoying because you won't know which MCP server is which, and it'll get really confusing. And before you know it, you're screaming at your computer screen and not sure what's going on. I don't want that for you. So we're going to hit save on that. I'm going to deactivate this because I don't want it to be accessible to the whole web. But you can see the idea of exactly how it works. And then if we go inside the chat here and we say, all right, mate, 2-bedroom condo in Manchester. It's going to take a minute or two to load. We're using the AI agent. I like to use OpenAI just to keep things simple. Like, I think OpenAI integrates really well inside N8N, whereas sometimes if you use these reasoning models like DeepSeek or you use these free APIs, sometimes they do fail. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I'm not going to be you there. And so we've got the whole section here on exactly how it works step by step. We've got the breakdown of all of the MCP listings, the prices, the location, the ratings, the reviews, etc. And if you want the complete Airbnb search link, you can go right here. It just makes gathering information a lot quicker. You can create your own apps and tools with this. You could publish this as a chatbot like I showed you earlier. Honestly, if I was looking for an Airbnb, let's say I was looking for a villa in Phuket for New Year's Eve, this would be way easier than actually using the website because I can just compare the options really quickly and easily. And I don't need to mess around. And then whenever I'm ready to buy, I can just click on the link, get it booked in, boom shakalaka. We saved a lot of time right there. And then the same with the Brave Search thing, right? So for example, if I'm like, okay, tell me about Gemma 3, it's going to do a search using the Brave Search web tool, like you can see. And then that should start working its magic right here. One thing I want to do as well after this is I'm actually going to say, do one web search about Gemma 3. All right, so just one resource, but let's check what we get back in a second. So you can see it's now come back to us with all the information about Gemma 3 using that web search, right? Along with the links. All right, so this is connected to the internet. For example, this particular result is from March the 12th, right? Whereas ChatGPT's data doesn't cover up to that period, right? And so it's real-time data. This is coming up now. This is March 12th, 2025, right? A week ago. And it's connected to the internet. It understands exactly what's happening. It links to real resources. It's in real time and it gives us real information. And all of a sudden, the biggest limitation to, for example, like using Claude 3.7 or something like that is that it's only updated to October 2024. It's not a real live agent connected to the internet. Whereas something like an MCP server or Brave Search, you can combine the power of all these different apps. It's a lot simpler to set up, and also you can actually search the web in real time. Plus you get all the resources and a nice little breakdown right here, right? Additionally, if we just say to the agent, I want to test this, I'm going to say, just do one web search, right? Return one resource. I want to see if the AI agent is intelligent enough just to give us one resource, not like 6 different resources, and see if we can filter and personalize the search results, right? Because if it can do that, then it's actually better than using something like Google, right? If you're using something like Google, you get all the ads. Yeah, look at that. Boom shakalaka. All right, so you've got one single web search result. If we click on that, it's the most relevant one as well. So it's the most authoritative. It links directly to Google's website, March 12th, 2025. We got the results right there. And it's only given us one, like we specified. So we said just do one web search about Gemma 3, return one resource. And it said, yeah, I found a resource. Here you go, right? Now, this is way more efficient than actually using something like Google, right? So if we say, okay, Gemma 3, it's going to link to all these different YouTube videos and different links, and it's going to be really messy and there's no summarization. Whereas if you go inside this AI agent, we've created something that's actually better than Google because it gives us an overview. It gives us the most relevant links. It's not really messy. There's no ads, and we can customize it however we want. Plus, it's a much more intelligent search. So that's what I'm talking about, peeps. That's the future of MCPs. So if you want to get all of these workflows and the full SOP, you can get that inside the AI Profit Boardroom. Link in the comments description. This comes with all my best AI agent workflows and everything else. If you want the AI agent system prompts and everything else, feel free to get that inside the AI Profit Boardroom alongside a much less technical workflow for creating MCP agents, which I link to inside the AI Profit Boardroom. This also comes with basically a community focused on making more money and saving time with AI, right? So if you want to automate your business, if you want to scale up, if you want to save hundreds of hours, this community is awesome and perfect for you, right? We've got 475 members that you can ask questions about inside the community right here. And all these questions get answers, right? So for example, you can see everyone's getting an answer right here. Additionally, you can see we're constantly updating it here, right? So this is wild. Every single week we update this. You can see all the other stuff that we've added right here. All this stuff is brand new. And that's the thing, right? If you want to be in a community where it's constantly being updated, where you get the latest information on what's working, what's not working, Profit Boardroom is all about that. Additionally, you can get all of the agent workflows and just import those directly into N8N, so you save all the setup, and you can jump on Q&As weekly if you want to call, right? In fact, if you join today, you can get weekly Q&As and you can jump on the Q&A call today, right? So, for example, if you wanted to import that N8N workflow that we've just shown you here, what you do is you would go over here, you're going to download the Airbnb and Brave Search example. So then we're going to go to N8N and we can click on import from file. All right, so we'll import that from file, import the JSON file. Boom, look at that. All right, we've just imported that straight in. So you don't need to mess around with the setup or anything like that. Saves a lot of time, my friends. Saves you spending like an hour figuring this stuff out, just like me. All right. And this also comes with other loads of cool stuff. For example, we've got a 3-hour course on how to use Manus with my best recipes right there and all this good stuff. Additionally, if you want to get a free one-to-one SEO strategy session, feel free to book that in. We'll share how we take websites from 0 to 145,000 visits a month and generate hundreds of thousands of dollars in sales and autopilot. On this free link building acceleration session, you'll get a free domination plan that's custom tailored so you can get more lead sales and profits from your website. You'll discover the secrets of SEO link building. You have to jump on that call on one-to-one, ask any questions about SEO that you have, learn the best link building strategies for your website, plus how to quickly outrank your competitors based on what's working for us and our happy clients, like you can see right here. Feel free to get that link in the comments and description to this free one-to-one SEO strategy session.